Now my concern with this here is that possibly I have got this bolt coming out just a little bit too far, and it's going to maybe touch the bottom of that red ball that you see there for the swivel. Now I haven't tried it yet, so this is going to be the very first time you're seeing it along with me. Okay. Now, it looks like it's going to be okay. Yeah. That looks like it's going to be okay. And speaking of clocks, it was pretty well unanimous you're willing to put up with the racket. You know, I honestly don't hear it unless I'm trying to talk over top of it or something, then I notice it. Otherwise, I don't hear all that racket. Okay, yeah, that's going to be just fine. Now, as for my photo-etch thing that I'm going to try and make up, I've been thinking maybe this isn't the best piece of metal that I can use. I can probably find something a little better. And last night I was looking at a hinge. I noticed on the internet where somebody actually made a photo-etch bender out of a hinge. And I was looking at that. I've got a lot of old hinges. And but now I'm thinking I would like to maybe have something that's a little bit more flexible, and I'll try and machine that down into something that's not going to damage the photo etch and yet hold it down and allow me to bend it up. Anyway, we'll work on that today. Now you've probably noticed here that I'm almost whispering. Well, there's a good reason for that. And the good reason is that I'm almost wearing the camera on my forehead. Yeah, but it doesn't bother me. And anyway, oh, I guess I should have folded that back in. I think I've already broken my 1/1000th of an inch. This one is the 3/1000th of an inch. Yeah, I'll be using that in a minute here. But anyway, I thought I'd just mention why it is that I'm almost whispering here. And when I'm using the macro lens and I'm really close in, well, I find that I sometimes find myself actually whispering. And I don't do it intentionally. Now, when the camera's a long distance away from me, well, then I have a tendency to automatically yell. You know, like trying to get the attention of some little kid or something. Yeah, I've pretty well given up on this. Now, this was the hinge I was actually looking at last night. And I'm now thinking that possibly, one of these others might be better. I don't really need something that big. I can't envision having to bend something this long. And my thinking was to try and flatten this out like let's say this green cloth was sandpaper, I was just going to, flatten it out a little bit and then take and go like this, flatten it the other way so it was nice and straight. But I'm thinking now, if possibly, and I haven't checked yet, maybe one of these smaller ones might also be nice and square, or straight rather. And a nice easy way to check them is on a flat piece of glass and then using the feeler gauge. So let's just try that here. Now I don't know why it is that something happened to my 1/1000th of an inch, but whatever happened, it happened. Now it kind of wants to get in underneath there and here. So that means that it's kind of cupped this way. I could probably, quite easily sand that down. Let's try the other way. That one's worse. Let's try this one over here. This one's pretty good. How about this side? Oh, no. Alright. Well, let's go for this one. Yeah. I've got a plate glass mirror that I brought up from the basement, and that's about as perfectly flat as I can get. And I'll put the sandpaper down on that, and that should give us a fairly flat surface. If I'm smart, I'll make a little mark here. Murphy's Law, if anything can go wrong, it will. Now the sandpaper on the left here is 400 grit, and I think it's designed for wood. But I don't have any of the emery cloth type sandpaper that's, designed for, the wet dry that you can use for metal. But this one is, and that's 1000 grit. So my thinking here is I'm just going to use the 400 just to take off any large bumps or anything that might damage the photo etch. And I might be doing this wrong. Those of you who are used to working with metal, you're probably cringing right now. And I'm more concerned about this edge right here. Oh, look at that, it's taking it off. Well, maybe this wood sandpaper's alright. Look at my fingertips are poking through there and I'm sanding my skin off. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's sort of leveling it off, isn't it? Well, it's pretty obvious that metal was higher here than here. I'm just going to keep this up for a while. Well, I can see where it started to touch this, but it hasn't, what you would say, leveled it off. But all along this edge here, it's, well, maybe just a little bit more right here. I'm losing my touch. What happened? Still just a little bit more right there. Maybe I'll use my other hand. See, I want to be pressing down here, not here. Just a little bit more here. Hey, here's an idea. What would happen if I went like this? No, I didn't think of that before. Oh, 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 I didn Now we're getting a new area though, scratching. That's not working. Maybe that's why I didn't think of it before. How about two hands? I think we pretty near got it here. Just another smidgen. Do I have any fingerprints left? Okay. Well, I think that's probably pretty close. Now, I want to do it like this. I wonder maybe I should, in order to keep it, always at the same angle, I should maybe fasten a little piece of wood out the side here. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm starting to get cramps in my fingers. Okay, I went down to the workshop and I got a pair of pliers here, and I'm thinking possibly this is going to make it a little easier. Maybe. Try it like this. Just a little bit here and here now. Well, I guess you know what time it is. Maybe that's good enough. I don't think I need to remove this. It's as long as it's going to be basically flat on the edge here, where it's going to, clamp down on the, pretending my finger was the Photo-etch. Anyway, I think enough's enough. I'm actually starting to sweat here. Now, I don't need this too tight because I don't want to warp this thing. All I need is to have it so that it will hold it, so that it's not going to, go back and forth, rock back and forth. It'll keep the bevel that I'm going to be grinding here at the same angle. And I'm thinking I might want to have it a bit like, a bit kind of like this, very slightly. So that means I'm going to want to be raising the other end of my stick here, prop it up on something. I always keep it at the same angle, probably about 5 degrees, 10 degrees, that's about all, as long as it remains constant. So what can I find to prop this up on? I'll find something. Maybe this. Maybe I should be putting more pressure down here. All the pressure was coming on this side here. Mind you, it's doing pretty good there. Well, I think we're probably about ready to use the fine grain. Let's take it off here and have a close look. Why am I doing this by hand? Seems to be a bit of a flaw right there. Well, let's try this on a piece of aluminum foil. That's the closest thing I've got right now to photo etch. I'm noticing just a little tiny flaw right there. Don't know if that's going to affect anything or not. Let's try it with a feeler gauge again. Now I realize that this is 3/1000ths of an inch, but I don't think that the metal etch stuff is actually thinner than that. I think it's probably a lot thicker. I'll measure it when I actually get it. Anyway, it's pretty good here. And yeah, let's get a little piece of aluminum foil and see if we can bend it. Okay, it's very easy to kink this, and I don't want to kink it. And my big clumsy fingers here. Let's just make a little tiny piece. Okay. Okay, now this overhead view may not be the best, and this may not be the best. You know what, I'm gonna have to find something a little different. Okay, I readjusted it. Maybe it'll work now. Now the idea is that you're supposed to just press in, not hard, and then fold it up like this. Well, without sticking the macro lens on, I think you can see it sort of works. Yeah, it sort of works. That doesn't feel sharp. I don't think, it's not sharp like a sharp knife or anything. So I don't think it's going to cut the photo etch. Well, it didn't cut the aluminum foil. And, that's terribly soft stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, tomorrow is worst case scenario day. I'm looking forward to it. Never thought I'd look forward to a worst case scenario, but it might be a good thing. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.